Why didn't he let her be first in line? An unusual tension vibrated through the bank lobby. Sarah, a woman whose patience wore thin, stood second in line. A flicker of hope remained. Only one person stood between her and the teller. This suffering, she mused, would soon be over. Then, a disruption. Not a fire alarm, not a bank robber, but something equally jarring to the delicate ecosystem of a queue. A woman, and not just any woman. A diva of beauty who glided past Sarah and positioned herself directly beside the man at the front of the line. "Excuse me, sir." Her voice, a smooth blend of honey and command, purred, "Could you possibly let me pass? I have truly urgent business." A collective intake of breath rippled through the room. Heads subtly swiveled, conversations died, and the entire bank seemed to hold its breath. All eyes, like moths to a flame, were drawn to the unfolding drama. The man, a nondescript figure in a sensible grey suit, simply turned his head forward. "No," he stated, his voice devoid of inflection, his gaze fixed on the teller's window. A hush descended, thick and palpable. The Scarlet Woman, seemingly unaccustomed to such denial, blinked. She hadn't moved. The air crackled with anticipation. "Why wouldn't you give up your place in the line?" Her voice, though still melodic, now carried an edge. Slowly, deliberately, the man turned his head, his eyes, hidden behind practical spectacles, meeting hers. "Why should I?" he countered, his tone as flat as a perfectly ironed shirt. A flush crept up the woman's face, blossoming on her cheeks. Her carefully constructed facade began to crack. "Why are you being rude to me?" He merely looked at her, then repeated with an almost unnerving calm, "Why should I?" Sarah, despite her ingrained aversion to waiting, found herself captivated. This was a rare spectacle, a delightful deviation from the mundane. Rarely such a woman doesn't get what she wants. There was some satisfaction seeing her being refused. "It's an emergency," the diva declared, her voice rising in pitch, a desperate plea. A faint smile touched the man's lips, a subtle tremor in his shoulders suggesting suppressed laughter. "An emergency?" he questioned, his voice a low rumble. "In the bank?" A ripple of suppressed giggles broke out from the people behind him. The woman's face deepened to a furious crimson. "I don't have to explain anything to you," she spat, her voice now a sharp, indignant hiss. "I'm in a rush." He turned, sweeping his gaze across the assembled line. "I think everyone here is in a rush too," he observed, his voice carrying just enough to be heard by those around him. "You have to stand in line, just like everyone else." A chorus of hums and nods erupted from the queue. Men and women, long accustomed to the silent suffering of lines, found a champion in this unassuming man. Defeated but not yet willing to concede, the woman pivoted, her scarlet dress swishing dramatically, and marched towards the security guard. He listened, nodded, and opened his mouth to speak. But then, he caught the collective glare of every person in the bank, which pinned him in place. He hesitated, visibly swallowed, and then, with a sigh that seemed to carry the weight of all customer service woes, he stated, "I'm sorry, lady, you have to stand in line like everyone else." The dam broke. The diva erupted, a torrent of curses and furious accusations aimed at everyone and no one in particular. Her elegant facade crumbled completely, replaced by a raw, unbridled rage. Finally, with a dramatic huff, she stormed out of the bank, the heavy glass doors slamming shut behind her with a resounding thud. A profound silence descended upon the room, broken only by the gentle hum of the air conditioning. People looked at each other and smiled. One shouted from behind, "Respect, man!" The man at the front of the line remained unmoved by the ovation, his gaze still fixed forward as he patiently waited his turn. Sarah, intrigued, stepped closer to him. "This is the first time," she whispered, her voice tinged with admiration, "I've seen a man stand against a beautiful woman like that. Most men would have gladly given their turn to her. The man turned, a hint of confusion creasing his brow. "Was she beautiful?" he asked, his voice soft, almost questioning. "I wouldn't know. I'm nearly blind." All I heard was her words. Sarah paused, a new understanding dawning on her. The quiet defiance, the unwavering resolve. It wasn't about the woman's appearance, but about principle. It was about fairness, about the simple, often overlooked truth that some rules apply to everyone, regardless of how they're packaged. And in that moment, Sarah realized that sometimes waiting in line can offer unexpected insights into the true nature of people. What do you think? Please share it in the comments section below. Subscribe for more. Yours, the Counselor, SFTG.